Good morning, Mr. Moore.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Mr. Moore, my name is Alvin Roche. To my left is Ms. Bonnie Jackson, and to my right is Mr. Pete Freeman. We will be your parole panel this morning. Would you please give us your full name and your Department of Corrections ID?
My name is Deshunski D, 413593.
Okay. Mr. Moore, let me explain the process to you. I will read some information to verify that information for the record. At the appropriate time, we allow Ward Amble to make remarks, comments, or if she has any concerns. After that, we will allow your guests present to make statements. We allow 3 individuals to make statements. And then before we vote, we'll allow you to make a brief statement on your behalf. You're represented by attorney with Ms. Meyer. Please introduce herself for the record.
So good morning, Honourable Committee. My name is Amy Myers and I'm a staff attorney with Louisiana Parole Project. And with your permission, I wish to make a brief statement at the end of the hearing.
Thank you, Mrs. Myers. And just 1 second until I get the list of participants. Thank you. First of all, with the persons at Louisiana State Penitentiary, please introduce yourself, starting with the young lady in the green.
My name is Veronica Isaac.
And what's your relationship to the offender?
I'm his oldest sister.
Okay, next.
I'm Eva Moore. I'm Deshunski's mother.
Next.
I'm Kawana Moore and I'm his baby.
Okay, great. And young man.
James W. Moore, I'm his dad.
Okay,
Cedric Williams, close friend.
okay. And no one indicated they would like to speak, so Attorney Myers is going to speak for Mr. Moore. Is that correct?
Mr. Roche, with your permission, Ms. Eva Moore and Ms. Veronica wish to make a brief statement in support of Deshunski as well.
Okay, so it's Veronica Isaac and Eva Moore.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and after all the statements are completed, we'll give you a chance to make the statement at the very end, okay?
Okay.
Mr. Moore, you are a first felony offender. Your offense is manslaughter. You were sentenced on June 18th, 1999. And you received a 4-year sentence. And when you were sentenced, you received 448 days of jail credit. Your parole date was March 27th, 2023. Your adjusted good time date is April 1st, 2031. And your full-term date is March 26, 2038. Is all that information correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, Ward Amble, we see where he lost 197 days good time. All that good time has been restored. But we can't find the reason for the loss of good time. during the hearing, would you sort of find out for us? And then when Mr. Freeman asks you for comments, you can tell us why that time was lost and when was it restored?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Freeman has been assigned your case, so would you please answer Mr. Freeman's question?
Morning, Mr. Moore.
How you doing, Mr. Freeman?
I'm doing fine. How old are you, Mr. Moore?
I'm 42.
Okay, and how long have you been in prison on this charge?
25 years.
Okay, so you were 17 at the time of the instant offense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's your educational level?
I have a GED. I have a bachelor's and associates in Christian ministry, and I'm currently enrolled in the master's to get my divinity in Christian ministry.
Okay, that's great, great. Mr. Moore, let's go back to what happened. Obviously, you and Jamal Owens had an argument and you ended up shooting him, correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what the argument was about and what went through your head? Why did you shoot him?
It started on a Thursday night when I was hanging on the street corner, and I seen my girlfriend and Jamal's sister Roshana coming down the street. You know, it was after 10 o'clock, so I took that kind of late for her to be walking the street, especially after we just had a 3-month-old child together. So I asked her where she was going. Jamal's sister, you know, butted in, and that led to us having an argument. The argument escalated, and it led to me pulling my gun out and firing a shot at her with the intention to scare her off. That shot drew attention from the neighborhood, and threats were being made of calling the police, so I left. I returned that Friday morning with the intention to go over to my girlfriend's house to straighten things out, because of the night before. I stopped along the way over some guys' house and played basketball. Jamal's sister Roshana seen me and made some threats that she was going to get her brother for me for shooting at her the night before. I ignored her. She left and returned 10, 15 minutes later with her brother Jamal. He called out to me. When I seen him, me knowing that he carry a gun like I carry a gun, I immediately pulled my gun out on him. Me doing that escalated things, and we got into a heated argument. We made threats back and forth. Once he made a threat to me saying when he catch me slipping, he got me. Me knowing what that type of street talk meant, I shot him. He took off running. I let my anger get the best of me, and I chased behind him and I shot him 2 more times in the back. And I ran from the neighborhood and I was arrested shortly after in my mother's house.
Okay. If you had this all to do over again, what would you do?
Well, I'd have listened to my mother. I'd have stayed in school, for one, because I had dropped out of school. And I'd have listened to my mother, been obedient, been in the house. I'd never been out on the street corner from the start. I never had a gun either, or hanging out late at night. I'd have been getting my education.
Well, quite obviously, you have very good mental capacity because you've done well in prison, furthering your education. Were you on drugs, alcohol back then?
No, sir.
Did you use drugs, alcohol back then?
No, sir.
You didn't drink and you didn't smoke pot or anything like that?
I never did drugs.
Never did drugs, okay. Back when you were a juvenile, you got charged with aggravated battery and you pled to simple battery. What caused that? What was that about? Do you recall?
No, sir. I can't recall that.
Okay. Were you ever on juvenile probation or spent time in a juvenile facility?
No, sir.
Also, it looks like while you were were waiting for this charge to go to trial. You had a simple escape charge that was dismissed. What happened? What you was trying to do?
At that time, no, I haven't, they come to me with the sentence for 40 years. You know, I couldn't wrap my head around that. I had just had a 3-month-old child. I think he was about a year old at that time. My girlfriend was going through a lot, taking care of him. I had a lot going through my head, and I couldn't see at the time of doing 40 years, and I wasn't ready to take full responsibility of my crime. So I came up with the plan to escape.
So how many children you have? Just that one child?
Yes, sir.
Do you still see that child?
No, sir.
Okay. What about his mother? Are you still in contact with her?
No, sir.
Looking at law enforcement, the DA is opposed, the chief is opposed. Your mother, Eva Moore, is unopposed. Your sister, well, his sister, Bridget Owens, was opposed. Now, we did not get a comment from her. What is going to be your transition plan? Where you going to live? Where you going to work?
I'm going to the Parole project, where they're going to help me transition back into society. They're going to provide me with housing, clothes, and a job until I'm financially stable to go out on my own. I have family support as well.
Okay, so where will you go live after the parole project?
With my mother.
Your mother lives alone, or there's several people in the house? Will you have a room to yourself?
She lives alone.
I've seen you taking some classes. You took the Tyro leadership course. What did you learn from that?
I learned, it's a leadership-based class and help you turn your circumstances into success. All the negative and obstacles you have. It helps you achieve and try to be successful. And the most meaningful part to me was that, the living part was the last chapter, because I never took the chance on living. When I was in the free world, I was just existing. So I learned how to be a leader, great father, become a great leader, to give back and help others. And me taking that program gave me a chance to go out and live and give back and not just exist.
Okay, I see you took Inside Out Dads. Are you gonna try to develop a relationship with your son when you get out?
Yes, sir. I own that.
And you took anger management, which you probably needed. What did you learn from anger management?
Yeah, I took anger management because it played a role in me committing my crime. Anger management helped me acknowledge I had an anger problem, that I need to manage it. What I learned is that my behavior was the cause of me hurting people, and I ain't want to hurt people anymore. So I seek help through the self-help program the prison offer, starting with anger management. And they helped me, excel and get to that next level, and when I healed from my negative behavior, I started reaching out and wanted to help others, and that became a priority in my life.
What is your job at the institution? What do you do?
I'm a tutor in a seminary / librarian.
Okay. What about the let's see, the work at the toy shop? What is that all about? What is that giving back to the community? What is it?
For the toy shop, we make toys year round. For special events, mainly for Christmas, when we make toys and we fix bikes and we give them away to underprivileged kids that won't have a great Christmas. You have different deputies or sheriffs that come from different parishes, and they'll come up here and get a certain number of toys, and they go back to the parish they come from and distribute the toys among children that's less fortunate. We don't look for anything back. That's just our way of giving back to society.
Okay, Mr. Moore, I see you've had 18 write-ups. You hadn't had one since 2014. It was a theft. What was that about?
That 2014, that was really my turning point in my life. You know, prior to that, I looked like I was doing the right thing, but I was really playing both sides of the fence. You know, and that 2014, you know, exposed me, and that really gave me a chance, you know, to really straighten up and try to be better and do the right thing. You know, I turned my life over to God, and I seen that I needed to be mature and be a better person. That helped me change, and from that point on, you know, I did that. I didn't want to hurt people because I had people depending on me, and I wanted to change and be better, and I did. Theft.
What it was for, what did you take?
I stole a case of chicken sausage and a case of hot dogs.
That's true.
Pretty good bit. I don't know where you tried to hide that at, but anyway, that's back in. You really do have a good disciplinary record. I will say that for as long as you've been in. Ward Ambo, did you find out why he lost those days? Was it because of this theft?
Yes, I'm gonna let, the record supervisor, Ms. Shipley, explain it to you.
Okay, I wanted to, let you know that the offender had actually lost, 90 days in 2008 on two separate, DB reports for a total of 180 days. And then in the 2014, he lost 45 days. He originally applied in 2010 to have the 180 days restored, and it was approved by the warden at David Wade. And when he became here to Louisiana State Penitentiary and lost the 45 days on the theft, he applied for a restoration of 152 days. At that time, he had completed anger management and adult basic education, Cage Your Rage, and a graphic program. And the warden here at Louisiana State Penitentiary granted him the 45 days restoration. So at this time, he has 0 losses on his record.
Okay, well, Ms. Shipley, I'm glad to see that they do let you talk. Anyway,
Freeman, I let all my people talk.
okay. Let's see,
All I did is just support system.
Mr. Hunley, with the parole project, y'all gonna put him through the normal evaluations and things of that nature, just to make sure he has no drug, alcohol problem?
Yes, sir. He'll receive our standard mental health and substance abuse evaluation upon intake. And then he would have to follow whatever recommendations our staff social worker found in the assessment.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay, just officially, I want to, for the record, Mr. Andrew Huntley is president, will make a presentation for the Louisiana Parole Project. And we have another individual, Alicia Poche, has joined the hearing in support of Ms. Moore. So at this time, Mr. Huntley, would you like to make the presentation?
Yes, would like to first and foremost inform the board that Deshunski Moore is a client of our reentry program. If he's released, he will, come through our program and be in residence with us through phase 1, where he will have, all of the support, all of the programming, all of the services and opportunities that we provide for all of our clients immediately upon release. I would like to first point out he's parole eligible today because of Act 99, which was passed a few years ago. The legislature realized after 2017, they had provided relief and parole eligibility to juvenile lifers but some juveniles who were sentenced to long sentences who had not committed as serious crimes or got as serious sentences as juvenile lifers did not have the same relief. So he's here today because the legislature realized and created the same standards that they did for juvenile lifers for those what we would call de facto lifers like Mr. Moore. But in reviewing his time in prison, we obviously saw the same thing this board's seeing, that for the last several years, he has worked very hard to turn his life around, and it's very clear that he's demonstrated growth and maturity, whether it's through his disciplinary record, his work record, his educational record. He has done more than most people do at Louisiana State Penitentiary. He's truly gone above and beyond. I think what, oftentimes we see the board seeing 60, 70, 80-year-old men who may be past their work prime. And it's unfortunate we're getting them out, but they're sort of behind the 8 ball in starting a career. I think when I look at Mr. Moore, he's healthy, and I'm excited about us helping him start that career because he's still a young person and he still has a lot of life in front of them, and he still has a lot of good to give the outside world and his new community. So he's someone that I can see that has 20, 25, 30 years to truly have a career, build a life for himself, build a retirement, and have something to truly show the world what he's done with his second chance. In summary, we have quite a bit of confidence in his ability to be successful, and we'll be behind him every step of the way. Thank you.
Certainly. Ms. Isaac,
Yes, sir.
you give us this about your brother.
Yes, my name is Veronica Isaac. I'm the oldest sister of Deshunski, and I'm just asking that you guys would grant him parole. We all know that the crime that he committed, he was wrong, but I've watched him grow. I've watched him want to be a better person. He has become a man of integrity, and my mom and my dad, they have been without him for 25 years. And we all just love him and we miss him. And we just asking that you guys would give him a chance.
Thank you, Ms. Isaac. Thank you very much. Well, Mr. Moore, we have one more spot, and we said that to the most important person in your life, your mother. Would Ms. Eva Moore give us your statement?
Yes, I am Deshunski's mother. Praise the Lord, and I am so proud of him. And I just ask you all to just thank you for trying to help him and give him a second chance. And I want to apologize for his wrongdoing to Jamal Owens, and I made a bond. God is good. Jamal and his mother and I got together, his mother and we made a bond, and we forgave each other, and we started living and seeing one another around town. We're from a small town, and we would pray together, and we would just hit it off so nice. But I still apologize for what my son has done. And for his son, I have been there from day one for my grandson. I took his place when he went away, and I hope raised my grandson. And he turned out to be, right now, he's a pretty good young man. He stays out of trouble and he go to barber school. And I want to thank you all so much.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. If more people in the world got together who had adversary reasons to be apart, and you would come to a compromise and get along, the world would be a much better place. Mr. Moore, a brief statement on why we should release you.
Well, I believe you look at my accomplishments, my conduct record, it will show that I'm no longer that 17-year-old that only had a 10th grade education. Me wanting to change and the self-help programs here helping transform me into a 42-year-old man with the understanding of taking responsibility and holding myself accountable for my crime. I'm deeply remorseful for the crime I committed against Jamal. I understand the trauma that I took on the Owens family through, and I'm deeply sorry for that. These past 25 years has enabled me to hold a job, further my education, and to reach back and help others, which is now a priority of my life in doing so. And I just pray that the board offer me a second chance at my freedom so I can go out in society and give back and reach my full potential.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Attorney Myers.
Thank you, sir. Despite coming to prison when he was just 17 years old, Deshunski did not fall into the traditional pitfalls that many juveniles do. He adjusted to prison life quickly and only received 18 write-ups over the 25 years he's been here, a truly exceptional record. Today, he's a Class A trustee and he has a low Tiger score. His professor at the Bible College, Dr. Sharkey, saw Mr. Moore's brilliance and wrote in his letter commending Deshunski that you achieved a measure of academic excellence reflected in your 4.0 GPA. Deshunski has been on the honor roll throughout his matriculation and has gotten straight A's for many semesters. As the committee is aware, people coming home from prison with a higher education level are far less likely to recidivate. And Deshunski is one of the most educated people at Louisiana State Penitentiary now. Dr. Sharkey at the Bible College also said academic achievement is not equivalent to spiritual growth or even an indicator of spiritual maturity. The learning process is so much more than academic achievement. Deshunski is so much more than a talented and committed student. He is also a thoughtful and spiritual man who ministers to other incarcerated men here when they need guidance. Deshunski has completed over half of his sentence in prison and he's now at that sweet spot. Now is the time to release him. He's served a significant amount of time. He's made the necessary changes to his attitude and he's still young enough to have a full life. His mother and family traveled over 4.5 hours to support him today, and they will be able to provide longer term assistance if Deshunski doesn't have his own plan before he leaves Parole Project. We humbly ask you consider his maturity, rehabilitation, and accomplishments and grant his early release on parole. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Meyer. Is the panel ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Freeman.
Okay, Mr. Moore, first off, I very much enjoyed your interview this morning. To me, you're the epitome. I mean, you're smart, you realize that you should have stayed in school, you should have went in a different direction. You're still just 42 years old. That makes me a little nervous. I know you still have your whole life in front of you. So, let's take advantage of this chance. My vote today is going to be to grant your parole with a special condition that you go to the Parole Project, be evaluated per their standards, and follow any recommendations that they have.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Mrs. Jackson.
All right, you've done an outstanding job. You've got an excellent prison record. You have very positive remarks from people who've known you over the years. You are only 17 at the time that this occurred, and you have demonstrated a high degree of maturity and growth and rehabilitation. So my vote is to grant to the Parole Project.
Okay, Mr. Moore, you 2/3 of where you want to be. 2/3 of where you want to be. Mr. Moore, based on the family support I see behind you, sister, mother, sister, father, your friends have logged on to Zoom. The amount of educational advancements you made is tremendous over the last 25 years. Excellent remarks by Warden Ambo and former Warden Bernard. Outstanding transition plan with the Louisiana Parole Project. You are the prime example of an offender that is ready to be released. Therefore, my vote also is to grant your request. Upon release, I want you to have a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. I want you to maintain full-time employment. And I want you to do community service. You have a story to tell. The youth of the day is running rampant, committing all kinds of crime. I want you to get with your parole officer. I want you to get with your pastor, because I know you're going to church with your mama. And I want you to get with your pastor, get together and talk to groups of disadvantaged youth. Tell them your story and try to lead them in the right direction. I want you to do that at least 4 hours a month. You can do more than that. And I want you to do at least 4 hours a month, talking to groups of young people and telling them your story.
Yes, sir.
You understand those conditions?
Yes, sir.
You have received 3 votes to grant your early request. Your request has been granted. You have a good day and good luck.
Thank y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.